into some football, Jordan. The AFC North. If you can tell by the picture, that's Joe Burrow, and the other picture is Myles Garrett. And you, as a Bengals fan, know how this is probably going to end. Myles Garrett is going to end up sacking Joe Burrow and potentially causing a fumble, a strip sack, something. But let's talk about some football, Jordan. The AFC North, by all regards, usually the best conference in football. Any quick thoughts before we get into some positional breakdowns and things like that, Jordan?
A little touch. I know Charlie Jones for the Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver went down today. His status to this programming, to my knowledge, is still unknown. He was favoring his right leg. Never really want to see that because he's been having an outbreak of a camp. He had that labrum issue last year as a rookie, even though he still kind of made a big impact on special teams, scoring, I believe, 2 touchdowns total. But just guy can't catch a break, Doug. Really had, really sad to see, especially with, Chase sitting out. So these guys that normally aren't getting these heavy reps are, really getting a spotlight on. And I was happy to see it. But I'm sure I'll tweet some news tomorrow when it comes out. But let's just dive right in, Doug. So much. We got our preseason games coming up this weekend. Cincinnati saying that the starters are going to get a series. Week
that's
one,
right? That feels right. I would hope we would do the same, but I know Watson is going to sit out. But I think the first series feels right.
I'd be happy to see Winston and what he has. He's not a washed up. He's not Watson. I'm not saying that by any means. For you Cleveland fans, I'm not saying he's necessarily better. But I mean, you guys upgraded your backup. Probably with one of the best available athletes that matched Watson's style of play. No shame in that, but definitely, I hope Winston gets maybe 2 or 3 series or even a quarter. I'd love to see what he's got left in the wheelhouse and what he can demonstrate for Cleveland moving forward.
Yeah, and then I wanted to touch on the Brandon Ayuk rumors, Jordan. There's been a lot of swirling news about Brandon Ayuk. While I think he would be an extremely great football player to add to the team, the reports now are not favorable for us to land him, and I don't know what it was going to take for us to land him. But it also seems like, it's come down to Pittsburgh or staying in San Fran. I don't want to see Pittsburgh get him. I don't want Pittsburgh to be better than they already are, and I think he's the kind of player who helps their offense. Quarterback aside, they can find ways to get him the ball. I would love to see him be a Brown. And if we could somehow get him and keep Cooper, that'd be like a dream, 2 guys as talented as those two. So I did want to just bring that up. And then I did want to also bring up a camp stud that we've been watching is Cedric Tillman, who we drafted last year to get a lot of run, big, fast, strong receiver who's been doing really well for the Browns early, getting some nice deep balls. So, if he could be potentially another threat, that's only going to make this offense better. Hopefully Chubb, is right around the corner, getting him healthy. I know there's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of optimism here for me, Jordan, with the Browns. And I know you had some optimism too when we did our schedule breakdown a couple weeks ago. Anybody stand out for you, Bengals wise, camp?
Yoshivach, or as fans knows him as Yoshi, is having a stud of a camp. The highlights and the things that have come out, he's made several deep plays. He's hooked up with Burrow really nicely. He's hooked up with Browning. He's run both the first and second team offense at the X receiver spot. So really great to see. I mean, the young man had 4 touchdowns last year as a rookie, and a rotation that considered low snaps. So we got really high value from him last year. And Douglas, I think he's a sleeper pick. I kind of, I'm happy with our Burton pick from Alabama, but I think that's going to be a battle. I think Yoshi is here to stay. And, if he keeps hitting pay dirt, that's something that can't be ignored. So
for sure,
definitely with our new offensive coordinator, especially, and, Tyler Boyd's departure, this wide receiver
offense, Jordan, Burton and him could play together. You guys run 4 wide. You guys do that. I mean, you guys,
we have,
I mean, you go 4 wide and you've got Gesicki out there. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't have all 4 guys running routes for you. I wouldn't do that against Cleveland. That sounds stupid, but run that against everybody else though, for sure. But no, I and you know what I really liked, Jordan, was his interview the other day after those camp scuffles.
Yeah.
He's just a football player, and I appreciate that about him. I know a lot of those guys. It's good for the cameras. The cameras love the drama, but those guys, we're just competing. It's not serious. It's not personal. It's nothing else. But I liked his interview after the fact. Hey, this is just football. That's what's going to happen. I'm here. I'm fine. I'm ready to compete. I really enjoyed that. But Jordan, let's get into our AFC positional breakdown. We're going to rank the best units at each position together. So don't do anything crazy. All right. Let's get it pulled up here. Of course, big ad just coming across. I hate these ads. All right, Jordan, let's start at quarterback. In AFC North, I'm gonna say Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the North. Do you agree?
I agree with this statement.
Okay. Who is the second best quarterback for you in the North?
I'm gonna go Lamar in this situation.
I'm gonna go Lamar also. This is where it gets interesting. Who would you say is the starter for Pittsburgh week 1? We have to make this assumption to finish this up.
I'm gonna lock down because of the capital they gave up and everything they moved to get Russell Wilson there. I think Russell Wilson becomes the starter at least for the first 4 weeks. So I'm gonna say Russell Wilson week 1.
Okay, who would you rather have, Jordan? Wilson or Watson?
Oh, Watson without a doubt. Russell Wilson has not played great football in the last couple of years.
Okay, that's fair. Running back position, Jordan. Without Nick Chubb, it's kind of tough to give us the number 1 spot. I'm going to say the Ravens have the best running back room because Chubb's not 100%. How do you feel about that?
We'll see what Derrick Henry has left in the tank. So on paper, without seeing anything, and we should do this again kind of after the preseason, but definitely I'm going to go with the Ravens for this one.
Okay. I'm going to slide us in at number 2, Jordan, because when Nick Chubb is here, he is one of the best running backs in the league. Is that fair to you?
That's fair to me, Douglas, because Cincinnati virtually has a whole new backfield, and it's unproven. I'm going to speak from an analyst standpoint, not a fan standpoint. The Cincinnati backfield and the Cincinnati scheme is unproven right now. It's our first year without Joe Mixon, in a long time. So I don't know what our running back room is going to be like. So, but I would still put us above Najee Harris and the Steelers, but I would definitely wouldn't put us above both Baltimore and Cleveland.
So you think the duo of Zach Moss and Chase Brown is more proven and better than Najee Harris and Jalen Warren? Because to me, I think I almost slide with them just until we know if Chase Brown can be that guy. So what do you want to do there? Because I think they're a little bit more proven. Zach Moss is a good running back. Najee Harris is so-so. Chase Brown, still very young. Jalen Warren, I like him out of the backfield catching the ball. What do you think, Jordan? I think it's very close. What are your thoughts?
I think Brown's going to be a better pass catcher than anything Pittsburgh has in their backfield.
Okay,
so that's why
I'm willing to slide.
I'm looking purely, and I know we're going to touch on line, and I'm also looking who's blocking for him. That makes a big difference in my mind. We know Cleveland and Baltimore have the better offensive lines, so I'm not. There's no argument there, but I think Cincinnati has a little bit of edge in that department, and that's gonna push our running backs a little bit higher than Pittsburgh.
Okay, quick shout out to Brady Fornshell. He is a Steelers fan. He's a decent Steelers fan. He's not one of those crazies. Jordan, I would have the Steelers ahead of the Bengals because I do like Jalen Warren out of the backfield, and Najee Harris and Zach Moss I think are relatively the same. We're going to leave it here because we're going to agree to disagree here, but I do think the Steelers would be slightly above you guys because I do think they're a little bit more proven as a duo. Quick shout out. We have 190 live viewers. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you for rocking with us. Okay. O-line, Jordan. I'm going to keep us number 1 for O-line. Is that fair?
Douglas, and it burns my heart, but I agree with you. And this backs up when we were previewing our season and we were going over our prediction records. That's something I harped on. Cleveland has the best offensive line in the AFC North as it stands today. With
Right.
we'll see where we start and where we end are always two different things. But looking at their body of work last season, Douglas, there's a hell of a lot of excitement for me when you're not playing the Bengals to see what that offensive line really transforms into, especially with Dwan Jones going into year 2. I'm super excited to see it. We're going to watch a few games together, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I got them ranked number 1.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting, and I do apologize for the ads. How much do you believe in your O-line right now? Because here's why I ask. You have the names, but we haven't seen it on the field. I'm not willing to rank you guys number 2 yet until we see it happen. Is that fair?
With Trent Brown just being activated this week, Douglas, I'm going to say we're 3. So I'm okay with putting Baltimore ahead of us today. I think we're splicing hairs there when it comes to Baltimore's offensive line and Cincinnati's, just depending on how it works out. I'm happy with Mims. I'm happy with Trent Brown. We drafted that center late in I believe the 4th round. I think that's going to give us a little bit of an edge. But as it stands right now, Douglas, I'm okay with us being in that 3rd spot because I need to see what it looks like in a preseason.
Yep, that's fair. Injuries, obviously, all that kind of stuff. Pittsburgh, I think they're closer than we're giving them credit for. It's just they don't do a great job run blocking, and we didn't get to see a lot of the pass game last year because of the issues with Kenny Pickett. I'm going to keep them 4th. I don't think they're that far off from you guys or Baltimore, but that's just me. I don't want to overdo it. Quick shout out to Coach Fresh, shouting out Dwan Jones, my man. I got the jersey sitting right over there. But let's keep it moving, Jordan. Wide receiver, this one's easy. You guys have the best wide receiver group in the North. If we got Brandon Ayuk, we make it interesting, but I still give you guys the edge. Who do you have number 2 here? You got Zay Flowers. You got a couple different options for Baltimore. Then the Steelers have, as of right now, they have George Pickens, who's really good. Who separates themselves here at receiver for you? Who do you have 2nd?
Are purely on receiving and without the tight ends?
Yeah, no tight ends because we're going to do tight ends by themselves.
Okay. Purely on receiving, it's close, Douglas. I'm going to put Baltimore 2nd, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to any Browns fans, but I'm going to rock Baltimore 2nd. I'd put Cleveland 3rd, and I would put Pittsburgh dead last because it just doesn't seem proven to me yet.
So,
and we don't.
And I think that's fair because outside of Pickens, I don't really trust anybody with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Van Jefferson was good in LA for the Rams, but they threw the ball a lot. Pittsburgh doesn't throw the ball a lot like that. Calvin Austin is their 3rd receiver. They've got Coez Watkins backing him up. There's some talent there, but we're going to have to see how it works on paper for them. Besides George Pickens, who didn't even have a great year, and he was their number 1. So that we need to see them get proved. I think Amari Cooper is the 2nd best receiver in the North. Jerry Jeudy's unproven. Elijah Moore is not done anything fantastic. He was okay last year. So I'm okay with what you did. Zay Flowers is a good receiver. I would put it a 2nd personally, but I'm not going to fight you too crazy here. Let's move on to tight end, Jordan. Tight end, I think this one's easy. Baltimore has the best individual tight end in the North. And then I think the Browns have Njoku, and he makes it 2nd. And I think Pat Freiermuth is 3rd.
Ooh.
And then no, I got to fight you there. Pat Freiermuth is better than Mike Gesicki. No, I'm not gonna argue that with you. It is a fact. It is a fact that Gesicki could be even better in Cincinnati. But everything we've seen to now, Pat Freiermuth is better than Mike Gesicki.
I'll give you this, Douglas, because our tight end group for Cincinnati is unproven. We know Gesicki, but everything after that is the wild, wild west. Our tight end 2 and 3 has been a tight camp battle. So I'm not going to fight you on this today, but Cincinnati went out and drafted a couple of tight ends for a reason. So we're going to implement the tight end room, probably unlike anything we've ever seen under the Burrow era. But as it stands today, I'm okay with that standing. I'm not going to argue too much.
And it's not like it's like crazy different. I just think Freiermuth is better individually is all. And I just think it's been proven. He's been their guy for the last couple of years. Cornerback, Jordan. Cornerback's interesting. I still think we have the best group of corners.
I got clear. As long as Denzel Ward is healthy, I think you guys have the best cornerback room.
Ward, Emerson. We know Newsom's injured right now, but I think we have the best 1-2 in the North. This is where it gets interesting, Jordan. Who do you have second? Because I think the Steelers have a legitimate argument here with their corners in Dante Jackson and Joey Porter Jr. What are your thoughts there?
I don't have an issue with it, but do you think they're better than Baltimore's group?
I'm saying they have an argument. That's why I'm willing to discuss it with you. Where do you see the difference?
Well, because I believe Porter Jr. is going to year 2, correct?
Yeah.
And at that position, Douglas, there's a big risk for a sophomore slump when it comes to cornerbacks and any kind of skill positions in general, unless you're like, Jamar Chase or, these guys that were drafted, top 5 in the skills group. But it's just not proven enough to me. That's where I want to put Baltimore 2. I wouldn't mind putting Pittsburgh 3 and then Cincinnati 4th, because outside of Cam Taylor-Britt, I'm absolutely I'm not going to say it tonight. I'm absolutely terrified. I'm not going to drop any F-bombs. But
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to say it. But outside of Cam Taylor-Britt, Douglas, this is the first year that we didn't add a veteran into camp or on the team. We are purely in draft mode right now when it comes to corners in Cincinnati. So, I can't remember a time other than, Leon Hall and Jonathan Joseph. Once we got rid of the free agents and we got those two guys going, this is kind of reminiscent of that. I'm a little scared. There's a couple quarterbacks out there that I wish we would have signed, but if they think, Turner and Cam Taylor-Britt obviously is the number one, he's proven. He had a couple pick sixes last year, really blossomed into his own before his injury. So I'm super excited to see him come in year 3. But, outside of that, Douglas, I'm terrified. So I'm okay with Cincinnati being 4th. I think you're going to play better than that, obviously. But right now, if we're talking about AFC North locked and loaded, Cincinnati's on that back end just because, nobody's really proven right now.
Okay, so here we're going to move to safeties, Jordan. We're doing both safeties. Remember that because, some of these teams have really good safeties. Let's go through the safety groups real quick. As of right now on your depth chart, it's Jordan Battle and Geno Stone as your safeties. How do you feel about your group before we go into the next group?
I'm shocked they're not mentioning Von Bell. So
he's on the depth chart. That's why I said on the depth chart right now. Von Bell is another number 2 behind Stone and I'm drawing a blank.
Jordan Battle.
Behind Battle. The Browns, Delpit, Juan Thornhill. Very excited about that group. The Ravens, they have, in my opinion, Kyle Hamilton's one of the best safeties in football. And then they pair him with Marcus Williams, who's another really good safety. But the Steelers come up with their own good safeties. Jordan, they got Fitzpatrick.
Where do they have? Fitzpatrick's been a bust sometimes. But where do they have Eddie Goldman? Because they signed Baltimore signed Goldman from the Chicago.
They have him. Let's see. They have. Oh, you mean Eddie Jackson? They have him backing up Kyle Hamilton. So it's Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams, and then Eddie Jackson's the backup. For me, Jordan, I'm going to give a slight edge to Baltimore in the safeties because Kyle Hamilton is really damn good. I think healthy Grant Delpit and Juan Thornhill is the second best duo. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is the second best safety, and I think the Bengals have the worst group of safeties.
Doug. So you're telling me the safety Stone, who led the NFL interceptions at his position last year, is worse than Fitzpatrick?
I don't think he's not a better player than Fitzpatrick. He's not a better player than Fitzpatrick.
No, I think he's a better cover guy than Fitzpatrick. And Jordan Battle evens that out because Jordan Battle is more physical.
But they're second safety because he's more proven than Jordan Battle.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about proven, I have Von Bell back on the roster, who's going to play a pivotal role.
Von Bell isn't even a starter right now. I said we're going off starters.
Okay. I think you guys are going to eat this ranking. So I can't wait to
said, laugh out LMAO who day. I love Coach Fresh loves putting that needle in the back.
Coach Fresh, let's go. Let's meet somewhere.
D-line, Jordan, are you comfortable with the Browns being 1?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Number 2 is where it gets interesting, Jordan. Because Matabuke for the Ravens is really good. Michael Pierce is really good. Travis Jones is solid. Who do you have at number 2? Because then we have, I think TJ Watt is clearly the second best pass rusher in the division.
But it's the rest of his line. You can't highlight it on one person.
But they have Cam Hayward. They have
Cam Hayward going in what year 12?
Larry, he's still a good player. They have Larry Ogunjobi. I think Watt's good enough to put them at number 2 by himself.
Ogunjobi, who couldn't pass a physical the last 2 years. I mean, come on, Douglas.
Come on, dude. TJ Watt is better than anybody you're putting out there. He's better than anybody individually Baltimore's putting out there. I think that puts them at number 2. What is your argument?
The Bengals when we're healthy at defensive end, we have one of the best pass rushers in the league.
He's not better than TJ Watt.
Are we just going to ignore that fact?
You really think Hendrickson's better than TJ Watt? There's no way. Brady, I understand Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, it is a toss-up. You do not believe in your heart that Hendrickson is better than TJ Watt. Absolutely no chance. No way.
As an individual, but I think Hendrickson plays on a better defensive line. You can't tell me guys like DJ Hill and Sam Hubbard
and Sheldon Rankins are better.
I think Miles Murphy going in a year or 2, our first round draft pick from 2 years ago is gonna have a absolute breakout season for Lou and company.
Okay,
don't hate on Miles Murphy. Don't hate on Miles Murphy.
I'm putting the Steelers at number 2. I'm putting you guys at number 3 because Trey Hendrickson is that good. I will put the Ravens at 4. The problem is the Ravens are consistently so damn good and they're so well coached, right, that they probably deserve to be higher. But at the same time, screw the Ravens, screw the Steelers at the same time. I'm just trying to be non-biased is all. Next position, Jordan, linebacker. I'm going to put us at last. We do not have a great linebacker group. I'm not going to overdo it. Our linebacker situation is not great. I think Baltimore has the best linebacking group, led by led by Roquan Smith, and then I think you guys are actually the second best linebacker group because I really believe in Logan Wilson. How does that sound?
Oh, well, Logan Wilson is one of the best cover backers, in a division and probably top 3 in the league when it comes to coverage. The guy's been getting 4 to 5 interceptions a year now for the last 2 to 3 seasons. So really, and he plays run support really well. Jermaine Pratt finally came into his own. He was a guy that we used to take off the field for third downs. Now you see him play third downs consistently. He's had a couple of good, coverages himself. What stands out, our first playoff win, that was his, really, really kind of his coming out game, getting that interception late in the game, sealing it. And, it's been kind of take off for him since. But I like this rankings. Cleveland, you guys do need to figure it out when it comes to linebacker, right? I'd really love to see you guys take a stab in free agency. I thought for sure you guys were going to make a splash.
We tried. Besides Jeremiah JOK, I mean, we're pretty weak at linebackers. So it's a prove it year. Also, Jordan, I want to piggyback off my earlier point with the Steelers and their D-line. They also have Alex Highsmith, who's a phenomenal pass rusher, come in from linebacker and help with that pass rush. I'm very confident putting the Steelers at number 2. Let's go to kicker, special teams. Ravens are number 1, Jordan. I have you guys number 2. I have us number 3, and I have the Steelers. Well, I don't know. It's a toss-up between 3 and 4. I think 3 and 4 are interchangeable here. I do like Dustin Hopkins for us, but I think you guys are right behind Justin Tucker for best kicker, and that's what I'm going off of for special teams. I know we can get into the woods about it, but how do you think our tiers look, Jordan, overall? I think overall, we were pretty fair. You know, I'm sure the Steelers fans aren't going to love to see those 4 in a row and those 3 in a row right there, but we did our best, and at the same time, we still hate those guys, so we're not going to overdo it.
No, I'm pretty comfortable. Like I said, that on paper right now, looking at depth charts, no preseason, no regular season, these feel pretty comfortable, and I would even rank them pretty accurately.
Okay, Jordan, what we were going to do was do the Ohio State schedule breakdown this week, but we're going to save that for Monday night. We've already gone 56 minutes. We've got 231 live viewers. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in with us tonight. Means the world to us. Brady, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the segments and not going off the deep end, seeing the Steelers get ranked where they were. I do appreciate you being a level-headed Steelers fan.